into the area of how we can take this research, take the learnings, and perhaps apply it into people's lives in a practical way. And one of the ways that you speak about is reframing or cognitive reframing, which is a technique that consists of identifying and then changing the way situations, experiences, events, ideas or emotions are viewed. And it would be a popular intervention in therapy, for instance. And one of the most powerful mindsets I thought that you've written about is that of making a conscious decision to reframe our most unpleasant or difficult experiences in life. And it's not to say that they aren't difficult or unpleasant, but perhaps by understanding the reactions that we have physically or mentally, that we can actually respond to it in a different way, in a more positive way.
Yeah, I mean, that's really important. That's a really important message from the book, I think, and one that has actually changed my own life quite profoundly. And so, I'm not really talking here about kind of major traumas. I think that maybe expectations of recovery do play a role there, but I think, we don't have the good research to kind of show how that would be. But certainly, I think when we're dealing with these kinds of challenges or kind of phobias that we might have in our life, we can definitely try to reframe kind of our interpretation of them. And the obvious one for me is with like anxiety-inducing events like public speaking or taking an exam. And you can be very well prepared for these events. You can have done all the kind of groundwork. But often then when we kind of arrive like on the stage or in the exam hall, we start to feel physiologically aroused. So, by that I mean it's like the racing heart, sweaty palms, a kind of that feeling of being very on edge, your nerves are kind of jangling. And we can interpret that in two different ways. So you could, and I certainly did this myself, and I think most people do, you can see the anxiety that you're feeling as being inherently debilitating. You kind of have the belief that if you were good at what you were doing, you wouldn't feel nervous. So you see it as a sign of impending failure. And that then creates more anxiety. It pushes you into ruminative thinking. And it becomes, to a certain extent, a self-fulfilling prophecy. But you could also reframe those feelings in a different way. You don't have to pretend that it actually feels comfortable to be physiologically aroused. Like it's actually... it's the opposite of comfort, and that's the whole point of it. Is we evolved to have that response actually to make you alert, to make you better able to deal with the challenge. And so you can actually see it as something that's uncomfortable, but ultimately positive for your performance. If your heart is racing, it's pushing all of this oxygenated blood to your brain that's helping you to think a bit more clearly. Things like cortisol, they're making you alert so that you're on the ball, because no one wants to be sleepy in an exam or on the stage. You want to be able to respond quickly to what's going on. We know they evolved for a reason, these feelings, and what the research has shown is that just reminding people of that fact and teaching them about the positive benefits, that can create a positive self-fulfilling prophecy. So it actually changes their performance. It improves people's public speaking, ability to perform in exams. It kind of raises their overall creativity in the job that they're doing. It helps them to solve the problems that were stressing them out. So it's really powerful. And even more importantly, it changes the way we recover from stress as well. So if you have that positive reframing of your anxiety, you tend to just return to normal more quickly after the exam or the public speaking. Your body goes back into its rest and digest kind of state, which is, where it can help to maintain your health. Whereas if you see the stress itself as having been really debilitating, that, you recover much more slowly. And so what the research has shown is that actually these stress mindsets, as they're called, can actually then shape our the physiological effects of stress and mental effects of stress in the long term. So people who see stress as being inherently debilitating are more likely to experience burnout, for example, or cardiovascular disease, than people who see stress as an uncomfortable but essential part of life and living a meaningful life.